Yeah. Rolfe was a young boy who grew up on a very large farm and sat on the North Face escarpment slopes of that farm as a kid and tried to understand the potential for viticulture or understand any sort of agriculture, understand the potential for trying to make a living out of that land. And something very rare for his generation is that he grew up with wine on the table. He grew up in the 30s, he was born in 23, so Prohibition and Depression that we did have as well. And so very rare to have wine on the table. The less rare for his generation, he went off to the war in the Second World War. He was in the submarines in the Atlantic, came back from the Second World War via Portugal, saw that there was schist in the soils, and something came together at that point, something amazing. Came back to the farm, wasn't able to start farming as soon as he got home. He was ushered into the family business of warehousing. But by the 70s he met his second wife. His first wife Mara passed away. He met my mother Lois. She was 21 and he was 46 when they got married, quite an age difference. They came together and had a young family. My two sisters and I moved back to the family farm and started experimenting with this vinifera straight away. And so that is he's a very curious man, very great observational skills, but also exceptional communication skills. He could make someone feel comfortable, whatever your age was or anything like that. Everyone, James Milton introduces me as the son of a surrogate father kind of thing. He was a father figure and a very amazing guy to a lot of people, a lot of ages. A lot of my very close friends when I was a kid saw him as someone they could talk to, even though he was 50 years older than them, so very special man. And he was the founding president of the Central Otago Wine Growers Association, so he drew a lot of people together just by virtue of the fact that they felt comfortable in his presence, I think, and that he'd already done a lot of experimentation, and so he knew the potential of his land with different varieties and cultivars, so he could have quite a very good eye for looking at vineyard sites and trying to understand what could grow in there. And so he advised in the sense of sitting out there having a glass of wine on different people's lands and inspired a lot of people into viticulture in Central Otago and in Waitaki for that matter over the hill. He wasn't really one of these people that was inspired by sitting on a deck at Waiheke, or the equivalent would be sitting in Napa Valley and going, oh, this is the lifestyle, this is what I want to do, I love wine, or anything like that. It was just, he's a farmer, he's a guy that's looking at his piece of land, trying to understand what its potential is and how he can perpetuate the succession of our family on that piece of land. You have to look after the land and find ways of creating a life and an income off it. And so it was much more about attachment with the piece of land for him, and trying to attach a cultivar that are most comfortable in that site with it, with that piece of land. And so that's a work of patience, it's a work of observation and perseverance. So that's going from one island to the other. It's essentially going